It's Tuesday, everybody, March the 16th. We're going to continue right where we left off yesterday in Matthew chapter 26, picking it up at verse 69. It says, "Now Peter was sitting out in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him. 'You also were with Jesus of Galilee,' she said. But he denied it before them all. 'I don't know what you're talking about,' he said. Then he went out to the gateway, where another girl saw him and said to the people there, 'This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth.' He denied it again, with an oath, 'I don't know the man.' After a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, 'Surely you are one of them, for your accent gives you away.' Then he began to call down curses on himself, and he swore to them, 'I don't know the man.' Immediately a rooster crowed. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken, 'Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times.' And he went out and wept bitterly." Guys, Peter's denial of Christ is one of the most memorable, popular stories of the New Testament, and it's probably famous because we can all relate to it. In some way, we can relate to being that one who loves Jesus, but then that also doesn't have the strength to stand up for him and actually goes as far as denying him. You know, we love Jesus, but we sometimes find ourselves in a situation where we have the opportunity to identify with him, but instead we fold like a cheap suit. And that's what we see here with Peter today. We're like him. We're weak. In fact, Peter is so weak here in the story, we remember that Jesus actually predicted that he would do this. Now, how much help is Jesus giving him? It's like he's actually telling him, be watching for this, you're going to do this. And even with that warning, Peter was not able to help himself. And he denies him 3 times before the rooster crows. You know, we've been going through a whole lot of disconnected stories here with these devotionals, stories from the life of Jesus, but I'm amazed at how the theme of surrender just keeps coming back into every one of these stories. And I probably shouldn't be that surprised because the theme of surrender really is a part of everything that we do as Christians and as followers of Jesus. And it runs through every, thread of our faith. Here we see that surrender is particularly difficult when self-preservation is at stake. And that's the idea that I want you to take with you today. This idea of self-preservation. It's a very powerful drive within each of us to preserve ourselves and to protect ourselves. In other words, what I'm saying is it's hardest to surrender when we know that that's going to hurt us in some way. And that might be in a number of different ways. It could be physically, emotionally. It could be our way of life. It could be our comfort, our reputation, that's a big one. Our pride, I think that those last couple were probably in play here with Peter. And it's in these situations where our self-preservation is threatened that we really get to see, we get a snapshot for how well we've really surrendered ourselves to God or not. Maybe you've had one of these tests lately, and maybe you haven't done so well at the test. Maybe someone said something completely against the values that you hold as a Christian while you were around the water cooler, and you had the opportunity to speak up, but instead you just kind of stayed silent and kind of went away. Maybe some friends were talking about religion and somebody says, yeah, all religions are the same, and you know that they're not, and you had the opportunity to say something, but you chose not to. Maybe someone points out that you're pretty religious and you feel the need to make your language maybe just a little spicier so that people aren't thinking of you as being that religious person, that Christian person. You ever done that? Well, these little tests are important because they really do reveal just how surrendered we are to God. This is the self-preservation test, and I challenge you this week just to be thinking about that. Am I trying to preserve myself? In Matthew 16, Jesus taught us that whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. They have to deny themselves. That's not seeing to our own self-preservation. It's allowing our own pride, our own comfort in these things to take a hit so that we can proclaim the name of Jesus. Guys, it's all about surrender.